In 1587, 115 English settlers landed on an island off the coast of North America. They built a small fort, a settlement, a life. Then the governor sailed back to England for supplies and got stuck there for 3 years due to war. When he finally returned to Roanoke in 1590, everyone was gone. Not a single person, not a body, not a sign of struggle. Just one word carved into a fence post: Croatoan. The Roanoke colony was England's first serious attempt to establish a permanent settlement in North America. Funded by Sir Walter Raleigh, authorized by Queen Elizabeth I. The settlers arrived on Roanoke Island in what is now North Carolina in 1587, including women and children. This wasn't a military outpost. This was meant to be a permanent home. In fact, the first English child born in the Americas was born in Roanoke. Her name was Virginia Dare. The colony was struggling, food was short, relations with local indigenous peoples were tense. Governor John White sailed back to England to get more supplies, promising to return quickly. But England was at war with Spain. The entire English fleet was needed to fight the Spanish Armada. White was stuck in England for 3 years, unable to return. When he finally made it back to Roanoke in August 1590, the settlement was empty, completely abandoned. The buildings were dismantled, possessions gone, no sign of fighting, no graves, just the carved word Croatoan on a fence post and Ciro, carved into a nearby tree. White had agreed before leaving that if the colonists moved, they would carve their destination into a tree. And if they left in distress, they would add a cross. There was no cross. Croatoan was the name of a nearby island and of the indigenous people who lived there. The Croatoan people had been generally friendly with the English settlers. The most straightforward interpretation. The colonists moved to Croatoan Island. White actually wanted to sail to Croatoan to check immediately, but a storm drove the ships off course. He was forced to return to England, again. He never made it back to Croatoan to look, and no systematic search of Croatoan Island was ever conducted in his lifetime. Over the following decades, stories emerged of gray-eyed, English-speaking people among indigenous communities in the region. Some indigenous communities in the area, including the Lumbee people, have long claimed partial descent from the Roanoke colonists. Modern DNA studies are ongoing and have shown some European genetic markers in certain regional communities. Archaeological digs on Hatteras Island, formerly known as Croatoan, have found some 16th century English artifacts, including a gold signet ring that may have belonged to a member of the original colony. The emerging picture suggests the colonists didn't all die. Some, maybe many, survived by integrating with the Croatoan people, gradually adopting indigenous culture, intermarrying, and becoming something entirely new. Not a catastrophic end, a quiet beginning of something different. Despite ongoing research, the full story of Roanoke still has gaps. We don't know if all 115 colonists went to Croatoan or just some. We don't know if some died while others survived and integrated. And we don't know what happened to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America. She was 3 years old when Governor White sailed away. She has never been found. Excavations on Hatteras Island are ongoing. DNA research continues. This isn't a closed case. It's an active one, with new discoveries still coming. The most likely answer is integration, not disaster. But likely isn't the same as proven. One carved word, 4 centuries of searching, and somewhere, descendants of those 115 people may be alive today without knowing it. 115 people, completely gone, one word left behind. America's first colony ended by an answer that raised more questions than it solved. If you want more cases where one word changes everything, subscribe. Next week, a radio telescope picked up a signal from deep space that matched every criteria for alien contact. It was never heard again.